So again, if you are using the Excel sheets, we are continuing on fourth with all with the same exact worksheets, except today we might depending how far we get, we might be able to take a look at inventory. So that's another worksheet that we'll have. So the same three ones that we're going to be taking a look at is your journal, your ledger, and your subsidiary ledger. All right, with the addition of the inventory worksheet. All right, I believe either today, for sure, either tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll take a look at the subsidiary ledger a little closer. So here we are. New week has is here. We completed the travel. Now this is what I like to do on mine, just so that I can keep my journal looking neat as possible. I like to have this little bar right here that says that I've completed the first trial balance and I was successful. So again, we did good accounting, so now we can go ahead and ensure that there's no issues or problems with the first 7 days that we journalized, because we completed the trial balance and it was even. So now moving on forth, the next trial balance that we do is going to be for the end of the 14th. So again, what I'm doing here is a weekly trial balance to ensure that I have that all my information is correct. Because if I wait till towards the end of the month, right, I may find a mistake and it could take me anywhere. Right? I could have made a mistake in the beginning. I could have made a mistake at the very, very end of the day, or end of the month. It's gonna be very, especially when you're dealing with lots of transactions. So that's why we practice in this case to at least complete a trial balance at the end of the week, so we can kind of scout out those mistakes early on. So now that we completed that, I've already blocked off this portion here on page 2. So now that means we're going to start on page 3. All right. And let's see what happened in the next scenario. So here we are on June 8th. Let me make this a little bigger. All right. So what did we do on June 8th? Yes. What did we buy? We bought a truck. Yes, we did. Okay. So let's look at the details here. Okay. So again, the truck was just $28,900, right? We got taxed, right, for the $2,340.90. Any documentation fees. So again, if you have to do your car registrations, they do provide it for you. However, it is a hefty fee that you have to pay. So here it is, $968. And even a down payment, right? Remember when we made a down payment, because they're not going to give us a truck if we don't put anything down. And then, of course, by us getting this truck, we also got approved of a truck loan. So most cases you will get, the one thing that when you get a car is you're going to get a car loan, whether you either pay it, whether you pay a portion or not, okay? Because ultimately it's either you lease the car or you buy the car under with a loan, okay? So with that being said, right, in grand total, right, if I calculate my 28 plus my tax and my documentation fees, all right, minus out, of course, my down payment, right, the grand total, actually, scratch out the last thing I said. The grand total of this car is going to be $32,208, okay? However, we made a down payment of $2,987. So that goes towards the actual amount of the car. So at the end of the day, I get a bank loan, right? And if we look at this carefully, you got a bank loan, all right? and you got approved for a 3-year bank loan at 3% interest. So that's really good. All right. But that means every monthly payment is right. It's already pre-calculated for us. So there's going to be due every 20th of the month, and every payment is going to be $849.81. So in this case, first things first is, do we need to charge interest?
No, it's already included in the amount.
Okay, it's not included in the amount. Interest is 3%, but no is correct. We don't need to record interest. Why?
Has it accrued yet?
It has not accrued yet. So the following month is when we make our monthly payments of $849, right? That's where we also have to start accruing the interest and include it in our journal. All right, a portion of the money that we make a payment to covers the interest, and then anything after that covers the actual principal. So in this case, all we're looking for is that we bought a truck, we made a down payment, and we got a loan. All right, so let's go ahead and journalize this. So first things first, the date is June 8th. Okay. We bought a truck. Okay, let's go ahead and check our chart of accounts. What number is going to be my truck? 17010. I'm sorry, say that again.
17010.
Okay, 1710. Perfect.
So 17010.
Yes. So here we're going to type in truck, because that's what we got. Okay, 17010 for the price of $32,208.90. Okay. What else did we do? Yes, we wrote a check, right? Because we made a down payment. All right, and then of course checking is
$29.87.
2987. 2987. All right, and of course the account number is 10100. All right. Last but not least, we also got a truck loan, right? All right, let's go ahead and look at our chart of accounts. What number is a truck loan?
28020.
28, yeah, 28020. Okay, so here we go, 28020. All right, so before we can go ahead and continue on forth, first things first is, what check did I write? So I'm going to go to my check register, and we're going to fill in the information here. Okay, it's now June 8th, and we paid $2,987 to who? Yes, to Honest Rob's dealership. Alright. Let me see. To Honest Rob's auto dealership. That's okay. So here we guarantee that it was check number 1508. So now go back to my journal and let's finish off my description. So I bought a truck from Honest Rob's. Okay. Comma. Oh wait, I just write auto dealership. I wrote a check number 1508. Okay. And I mean, as far as this, if you want to enter in anything about the bank, you can. I could put loan 3%, comma, 3 years. Okay. Okay. So now that I completed my journal, now I need to go to my ledger. Okay. So here's my ledger. First thing I have is an asset. So I have to find my truck. All right, here it is. All right, 6.8. Obviously, you're going to be increasing your truck value, so this is pretty straightforward. General journal number 3. Okay. And this is a debit for $32,208.90. All right. Of course, it's your first entry, so your debit balance should be $32,208.90. Okay. Then we wrote a check, so we got to go back up here, right? And up to checking, 6-8, check number, excuse me, 1508. All right. General journal number 3, and this time we credit it because we spent the money, right? So 2987. All right. Therefore, okay, so now I have to pull my formula down. So how much I should have now? 7,202.42 as my money balance in my bank account. All right. And then now we have a truck loan. So we got to go to liabilities, right? And this time it's a long-term liability, right? Because it's how many years is this loan for?
3.
It's for 3 years. So here I'm going to actually enter in all my information. Since this is going to be a truck loan and you owe the bank, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and enter in all that information under the truck loan. All right, so 6.8. So here you should have national, %3 APR. Okay, for 3 years. And then you can even enter in here the monthly payment, the $849.90 per month. Okay, I'm going to double confirm those numbers. So let me see, you're going to get, yep. Okay, so it's $849.81. All right. General journal number 3.
3.
And it's a loan. So we're going to credit for the 29. Oh, I didn't even journalize that. Okay, so if you want to make sure that your journals match on both sides, right? You can go ahead and take the original amount and subtract out the down payment, right? It should be for $29,221.90. Should be your total amount. So here, 29,221.90 is going to be your total credit amount. And therefore, since it's your first balance here, then it's going to be for the 29,221.90. All right. So again, every time you make a payment to your truck loan, it will include interest. So you may have to accrue interest, but in this case, I'm only doing the first month. All right. Okay. So there we are. I finished my ledger. Right. I've entered everything I needed to in here. And I entered everything in my journal. So now the next thing I have to do is now I have to fill in my subsidiary ledger. So who is going to be the vendor I dealt with? Honest Robs. Okay, so let's go find Honest Robs. Here he is. Oh, no, here you go. Honest Rob's Auto Shop. Okay, so again, June 8th. Now, we only made the down payment to Honest Rob, right? But from now and here on out, who do we owe after that?
Main Bank, Nevada.
Exactly. We owe the national bank, or in this case, it's the main bank, right? Which is our bank. So there is no real ledger for the main bank, okay? For the loan, but yes, just a little FYI because it's your bank account. So there's no vendor there, but for here we owe one person. I mean, we don't owe this person, okay? Because we just only bought the car from Honest Robs. He just handled all the paperwork, and now we make payments to the bank. Or to the bank. All right, so here's the notes here. We're just going to write that we made a down payment on truck. And that we wrote a check number 1508. Okay. Invoice number, there isn't one. It should be a contract number. Post reference is going to be General Journal number 3. Of course, there's no terms. All right. Therefore, there's no due date or discount date nor due date. We didn't make a prepaid amount. All we paid for was the 2987. Okay. All right. And again, we made a payment to him. All right. So make sure that you are aware of that we only made a payment of we only made the down payment of the $2,987. The rest of the money that we owe is going to go to the bank because we're paying off the loan. So we are done with Honest Robs unless we choose to take our car and we want to return it. Okay? But if you do that, though, there are some rules there where we can't get our money back 100% because what happens when you drive off the parking lot?
Depreciation.
It depreciates. Therefore, you use some mileage on it, right? You put some miles on it. So they're not going to refund you for the 32. They're probably going to refund you for less than that. But that's the price of buying a new car, okay? Especially if you're test driving it and you buy it and then you don't really like it and you have to return it. So there you go. Here we are. So here we don't owe Honest anymore. We now owe the main national bank account. All right. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on because we're done with that section. Okay. So now that we got the truck load, all right, so what has happened next?
We purchased 80 ceramic coffee mugs.
Okay. Now, question is, did we really purchase it or what did we do?
We ordered it.
We only ordered it. So, what is what?
Made a down payment.
Yes, we made a prepaid account, right? Because we paid a down payment in advance to ensure that to show this company that we are serious about buying their stuff. So we are going to not only make a purchase, we're also going to make a prepaid account. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so the total bill, right, or the total estimated bill was for $196. So we're gonna go ahead and make a down payment or a holding fee to ensure that we're gonna get the stuff. Okay, so because we're gonna have to write a check, all right, we're going to go ahead and do that. So first things first is let's go ahead and fill out the purchase order first, just so then we can understand that we made the order first. Okay, so purchase order, right? Good. So the number is 305. Okay, it's June 8th. We purchased this from
All Things Ceramic.
All Things Ceramic. Okay, and what did we buy? We bought coffee mugs, or in this case I'm just gonna write mugs. All right, for how much were we quoted for?
Total cost of $196.
Okay, good. Now that I entered that information in, I'm going to go ahead and now go down back to my journal because now we already made our purchase order. Okay, but we also wrote a checkout because we decided to do a half down payment. I'm sorry, not a half, $100 down deposit. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and write a check to All Things Ceramics. So, and it's going to be considered a prepaid account. All right, because we're making a down payment towards an actual item, and once we receive it, that's where we're going to go ahead and apply it. Okay, so in this case, think of it like a voucher. You're paying money for a voucher, and once you receive the items, then you redeem your voucher afterwards. So in this case, I have prepaid accounts and I have a checking account. What account number is prepaid accounts? 18600, and my checking is 10100, and it's going to be for my $100. Okay, so now that I've written this section out, let's go ahead and determine what check I actually used. So I go to my check register. The date is June 8th. Okay. So I used check number 1509 for $100. And who was my vendor?
All Things Ceramics.
All Things Ceramics. Okay. So now I for surely wrote check number 1509. So now I'm going to go back to my general journal and I'm going to go ahead and fill this information in. So again, first thing should be your vendor. Okay. So All Things Ceramics. Okay. This is in regards to purchase order number 170305, right? And then we also wrote a check number 1509. Okay, you can write $100 down payment, whatever you feel is necessary that to complete this description for you. I'm going to go ahead and add that 100. DOWNPMT. Okay, down payment check number 1509, and there you go. I'm completed that journal. All right. So now we could go to our ledger and enter in all that stuff. Okay. So we mentioned a prepaid accounts, right, is essentially like a voucher. Okay. So I'm going to go to my assets, and I'm going to scroll all the way down till I find prepaid accounts. So here I am at prepaid accounts, and I'm going to go ahead and enter in the date. So then I'm going to go ahead and enter in as well as PO number 17305, right? And I'm going to put down payment, okay? General journal number 3, and again, it's going to be for $100. So therefore, if you pull down your formula, now I should be at $7,926.04. All right. Okay. And yep. And then I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top because next is my checking account. All right. So then again, June 8th, we wrote a check number 1509, general journal number 3, and we wrote a check out for another $100. So therefore, my ending balance is going to be now $7,102.42. So we're getting really, really low in our bank account. All right. At least we know at the end of every day, or when we write our check out, at least we can know how much we have before actually writing out the check. So that's why we use the ledger, okay, just to ensure that these things happen, okay? So once again, now that we completed this whole section, I'm going to go ahead and now enter in the information to my subsidiary ledger, okay? So all the way up the top, we have all things ceramics, okay? Date is going to be June 8th, all right? In the notes, you could put down payment for mugs, okay? Check number 1509, all right? Invoice number is going to be your PO number 70305, okay? Other information, okay, again, post reference is going to be general journal number 3, okay? We haven't received a bill yet, so no terms, date, or discount date or due date. Okay, so remember, we don't use the prepaid amounts here because you can't make a prepaid amount on a prepaid amount. So how I clear this out is we're going to treat it like you actually paid for something in advance, or we're going to treat it as if you paid a bill, okay, or paid an invoice amount. So in this case, I'm going to put my $100 in the prepaid amount, and I'm going to say I paid for it. All right, using check number 1509, okay? Once we receive it, right, then I'm going to show you how to apply the actual prepaid amounts in the very next line. So in this case right now, it doesn't make sense, but it will when we actually go ahead and enter it in once we received our items. So again, once again, the formula is going to be your invoice amount minus your prepaid amounts, minus any returns and allowances, minus any discounts, and minus any payments. So right now, I don't owe all things ceramics at all, okay? They are going to be, right, they owe me service, right, because I made an advance payment, right? So on their books, they have to show that they owe me. But in my books, I've written out a check to them, so I don't owe them anything, all right? Okay? Like once again, once we receive the items, we'll use the table a little more, and it will make a lot more sense. Okay, so here we bought an inventory item. Just a little heads up, okay? So now back to the scenario, because we are completely done with that one. All right. Okay, so everyone good so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, then, again, on the 8th, we received something from the furniture store. What did we receive? We received 10 bistro tables. 10. Quantity of 10.
Oh yeah, each one.
Yes. So, yes, good. So here we're looking at the receipt. We have the due date, we have the invoice date, we have the invoice number, and let's look here. We have a subtotal of $6,055, and we also got taxed for that because it's furniture. And then total is going to be now $6,555 plus the delivery charge because they charged us money. Okay, so we have a total of $50. They're so generous to us. So here, our total is due is going to be $6605.08. So here, first things first is we received our inventory items. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and check mark that I received the items. So invoice number 75. I'm going to go to my purchase orders, right? I'm going to locate where those are. So tables and chairs, invoice number 75, okay? So here, we're still pending on our coffee brewers and coffee grinder. And we're also made a recent purchase order for those coffee mugs. So we're still pending on those two for now, okay? All right. And now I'm going to go back to my general journal. And now I'm going to go ahead and enter this information in. I just bought bistro tables and chairs. Okay? So, can I look in my chart of accounts and locate that I have bistro tables and chairs?
Yes.
All right, what number is it?
13010.
13100.
No, 13010.
Well, yeah, 13010, yes. Okay, so now that we have our bistro tables, I'm going to go ahead and place that in the journal. So I have bistro tables and chairs. Okay, account number 13010. All right, and for what grand total amount did I actually how much in grand total were the tables and chairs? In grand total.
660508.
66 5 660508. Okay, good. And of course, while looking at this bill, right? When is this bill due? In how many days? 15 days. So therefore, I'm going to place this on an account because I didn't pay it just yet. I have 15 days to make the payment. So in this case, it's going to be accounts payable. All right, and accounts payable is account number 20. Yep. 20,000, and it's going to be for the 660508. Okay. So of course we have all the information right here, right? I have the person that I bought it from, furniture store. I also have the invoice number 75. And I also have terms, right? My terms is it's going to be due in net 15 days. Okay. All right. So now that I have that, I'm going to now go straight to my ledger. Okay. So here, first thing I have is the bistro tables and chairs. So assets, it's going to be under furniture. Okay, so here we are at furniture. First thing I see here is under furniture is going to be my bistro tables and chairs. So 6, 8, straightforward. But here I'm actually going to write that I have 10 sets. Okay, 1 table, and 2 chairs. Okay, so that should give you like a kind of a awareness that you have 10 tables and you have 20 chairs. All right. Post reference once again, general journal number 3. And we debited the account, right? We acquired assets, we acquired furniture for 660508. And of course, because it's the very first entry, therefore I've increased my table and chairs by 660508. Okay. Now that I have that, I also place this on an account. So here I got to go to my liabilities all the way to the very top because now I owe money. All right. So 6, 8, and I owe this to invoice number 75. All right. Same general journal, but this time I'm going to increase the amount that I owe by 660508, bringing my account balance to be $10,683.24. So not only is my bank account really low, my amount that I owe is very high. I already owe $10,000 and it has barely been 1 week into the business. So not doing too good, but that's the price of starting up a company, right? You have to make those expenditures for you to be able to get the money back. Okay? So now that I have that and I filled out my information, I got my accounts payable. Everything's there. Everything looks good. Now I got to go to my subsidiary ledger, and edit the information for my furniture store for the vendor. Here we are, furniture store. So again, we are gonna place the date. What did we buy from them? We bought 10 sets, one table, and 2 chairs. Okay. This is invoice number 75, general journal number 3. So here we're going to place here net 15. And when is the discount date? We don't have any because they didn't give us of any percentage. So therefore, what is going to be my due date?
23rd.
23rd. So for this one, since I didn't have this last week, this is how you can enter in a date. It's really cool. You can go ahead and cell reference the date of June 8th, and you can go ahead and add 15 and watch this. It calculates the date for you. Okay, so a little cool thing about Excel, yes, you can add dates together and it will do it. And it will do it accordingly to whatever date that you have it for. So again, June 23rd is going to be my date. All right. Okay, so what was my invoice amount that I was billed for?
660508.
660508. We didn't make any payments to it, so therefore, if you did your formula correct, it should show that you owe $6,605.08. And if you scroll all the way down, you owe furniture store in grand total $9,033.75. So again, these should be automated, just because I wanted to make sure that you guys knew how much you owe each vendor. So if you don't have this, it's just equal sum the entire column of your accounts payable. All right, so there you go. Okay. Okay. So now that we finished that one, what has happened next? Okay, now it's June 10th. New day is here.
Kim Robinson.
That's right. We owe Miss Kim Robinson on the 10th, and now we need to make a payment to her. So in this case, what are we going to be doing? How much do we owe her, and where do we know that we owe her? Okay, so if we go back to the subsidiary ledger. Okay, where am I? Subsidiary ledger. If I go ahead and I'll just scroll down and just check all my announcements and what things, you can format Excel to highlight something if something is due. So again, Excel is very, very smart. So if you have something that's due, you let Excel know by entering in a condition, right? Again, that's a little advanced as far as the Excel that you need to know here, but that's something that you can do if you'd like to use Excel to notify you that you have a bill that's due. Okay, but in this case, I'm just going to scroll down to Kim Robinson, or Robinson Kim, right? It's in order. And here it says that I owe them accordingly on the June 10th date. And I owe $1,000, okay? So where did I place this owing amount? Where is it located?
Get the general journal too.
Okay, I'm talking about an account. Where did I place the amount that I owe to Kim Robinson? Where did I place it?
Accounts payable.
It's currently in accounts payable, correct. So if I know that for sure, right, I owe $1,000 and it's currently residing in my accounts payable, then I need to decrease it because I don't owe them anymore, right? So therefore, I'm going to debit my accounts payable because I'm paying it off. And I wrote a check. Okay, so this is how you use the idea of when you increase accounts payable, right? In order to decrease it, you're going to pay it off. And by doing that, you're going to decrease it with a debit account. So in this case, I'm lowering the amount that I owe. And I also am lowering the amount that I have in my bank account. So again, it is June 10. Excuse me for that. So June 10, I'm going to decrease my accounts payable. And I wrote a check. Okay. So first things first, let's go ahead and verify which check I used. So here, June 10. All right. I'm going to use check number 1510. And it's going to be for the amount of $1,000 to Kim Robinson. All right. Once I got that check number 1510, I'm going to go to my general journal and I'm going to finish off my description. So here, I paid Kim Robinson, right, for invoice, excuse me, invoice number, right? Where can you get that information? From the subsidiary ledger. Invoice number 1542. 1542, comma, with a check number 1510. So this one is telling me that I used a check number 1510 to pay for this particular invoice that I owe. All right. So this is where you're keeping your journal just as organized as possible and making links to things that you've made a payment to, right? So I took my 15010 check and I made a payment towards the invoice number 1542. Okay. So again, accounts payable account, it should be account 20,000. My checking should be 10,100 and it is for the amount of $1,000. Okay. So now my journal is complete. I wrote my check out and now we can go to the ledger. Okay. So here we are already at the accounts payable. So we can go ahead and write down the date. So June 10, right? And then here you can go ahead and write check number 1510 for invoice number 1542. So here in my log right now, I entered that I owe 1542, right? Now I wrote that I have a check for the 1542. Okay. General journal number 3, so I can just copy that right from above. And this time I'm decreasing my amount by $1,000. Okay, so I write $1,000. So now I've decreased my accounts. I decreased my accounts payable by $1,000. Now I'm down to $9,681.24. All right. I'm gonna format these. Okay, so now I finished that off, right? And now I have to go back to my checking account because I wrote a check out. So therefore, let's go ahead and determine what my checking balance should be as of the 10th. So again, I'm going to write check number 1510 10. It's 1510, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me just make sure I wrote that down. 15, yeah, 1510. All right, assets. Okay, so here again, general journal number 3, but this time I wrote out $1,000. So therefore, my account balance is now down to $6,102.42. All right. Even though I'm losing money, I'm owing less now. Okay. So good. We better start opening up soon so we can get our money all back. All right. So now I'm going to go to my ledger. Okay, never mind. I already finished my ledger. My subsidiary ledger. All right. And I'm already at Kim Robinson. So here I'm actually going to make a payment to her. So here, this is what I mean by doing a separate thing. So by me separating out every single transaction, right? Not only am I keeping my business transactions very clear and precise, I'm not deleting anything or entering anything in there. I could technically just, I guess, edit the information and make it seamlessly so then it's all in one transaction. But then you're going to be eliminating a few things. You're going to be eliminating the date because you have to modify it. You're going to have to be adding the check number. The invoice is still going to stay the same. The general journal is going to be different because we're now on 3. And it's no longer net 3 anymore, right? It's gone. So we have to delete this, this, and this. Or we could keep it there so we know that we paid it. Okay? And of course, you just add the payment right here. But in this case, since I have the amount, okay, so this is actually, okay, equals sum. So this is supposed to reflect that I have $1,000. Now let's watch this. So I made a payment, right? Check number 1510. Okay. This is invoice for 1542. And again, this is journal number 3. Now, because I'm on the 10th, right, and I'm entering a second entry here, I'm going to go ahead and skip all of this, and I'm going to make a payment, right, because that's what I did. I made a payment for $1,000. Now, if I pull this formula down, it should show that I have a negative $1,000 amount. And therefore, at the very end of my table, it says that I don't owe Kim Robinson anything because I made a payment right here. Right here, and it shows that it was a negative $1,000. So, that's how I like to use my general journal. Again, if it's much more easier for you to just place it all in one line, that's okay. However, you are missing out on a lot of details and a lot of information because you're going to have to change and manipulate the information that you've already placed in there. The dates are going to be off. The information in your notes are going to be, long. And then, of course, you could place the payment right up here if you wanted to. So, for example, if I didn't have this right here, right, and I decided to just use that one line, and I enter in that I made a payment for $1,000, then therefore you owe Kim Robinson nothing. So the same methodology applies. It's just how you organize your information. And in this case, I'm going to tell you, don't do it that way. Just go ahead and do it my way. So one, you keep your transaction organized and you don't eliminate anything. Because here, it shows that I received the bill on the 7th and I made a bill payment on the 10th. Okay? So that's 2 transactions that you could visually see versus if you just change and edit that information, it looks like you can't tell when this date happened. All right? Okay? So again, this is how I like to do it. So because I'm going to be the accountant for now, I'm going to tell you must do it this way. Once I give you the reins and powers for the 3rd and 4th week, if you don't want to do it this way, I don't care, right? You're in charge of your own books. Okay? All right, so that's how I do my subsidiary ledger. Any questions so far?
No,
Okay.
no question.
Okay. All right. So now that we paid Miss Kim Robinson, what has happened next? Okay, so bank approves the business credit card, right? Visa, okay, for $10,000 limit, okay? So of course, so we got a credit card, and it's going to be 18% APR interest, okay, at the end of each month on the balance, right, of the amount that you owe, okay? Payments are due by the 10th of the next month, because usually credit cards, right? When you receive it, they can't bill you. They don't. There's nothing that you've spent on there. So usually they give you a month to accrue the interest, and then they kind of bill you the month after that. So in this case, you get a free month with no billing, and then you get the bill the following month. So in this case, I actually gained a credit card. So what do I do with this information here? Can I record it? Yes? No? Maybe?
No.
No. Why? Good guess. Why?
Because you actually didn't get it yet?
We received it. It says right that we received it.
Okay.
Okay. That the bank approved it.
You haven't really used it. There's no financial impact. You haven't bought or sold anything.
Exactly. We just received the business credit card. We didn't even use it yet. So therefore, no transaction has happened. We haven't charged the card yet. We haven't received a billing statement yet. So in this case, you don't need to journalize this transaction. However, this is definitely pertinent for your notes to the financial statement. So, I'm not going to have you guys practice the notes to the financial statement because of those things, but just for this, I guess, scenario, it's just something that you would know that this is definitely information that you want to place in your footnotes to your financial statements. That you did receive a $10,000 credit card limit, right? And it's 18% APR, right? And of course, with that, right, you get charged every month. So that's the thing about credit cards. So in this case, we just received the card, right? The bank approved it. We didn't use it. We haven't received a bank statement. So therefore, we're not going to actually record that, right? So then what has happened next?
We got our invoice for the mugs.
We finally received our inventory item. And let's take a look. What kind of inventory are we using to keep track of these coffee mugs?
Weighted average.
Weighted average, but what else? What's the most important thing that you need to know?
Periodic.
We are keeping track of it via periodic. We're going to calculate it at weighted average, okay? So there's a few things that you can do every time you receive inventory. You can either receive the inventory and update your inventory worksheet, or you can go ahead and do your journal first to enter in the information. Okay, so it's kind of like up in the air what you want to do. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and do this and show you that this is what I'm going to do. First things first is I'm going to go to my purchase orders and verify that I received this item, right? That I received the inventory. So here we are, the coffee mugs. I received them, and it's for invoice number 126. Okay, boom. All right. Now I'm gonna also journalize this because of I want to go ahead and make sure that I have it in my journal first, and then update my inventory worksheet afterwards. So again, it is 610. All right. Let's look at our information carefully. We received our coffee mugs, right? So let's look at this. Subtotal is $196, right? We have a prepayment, right? Because we sent them a $100 check. So that goes against the bill, as you can see right here. So now your total is $96. However, you got a freight charge for $100. So in this case, my total, the amount that is due, is now $196. So first things first is, what is my journal going to look like, especially when you're using periodic inventory? How do you journalize periodic inventory? Purchase expense, absolutely correct. Purchase expense. All right, let's go ahead and go to our chart of accounts to determine what account number that is. 6100. Okay, perfect. 61,000. 61,000. Okay. What also do I have to also journalize here? What other account do I need to have? You need to have your freight expense. Good. Okay. And how much is your freight, and what account number is your freight expense?
60300.
60300. Okay. And then again, I made a prepayment. So what was my prepaid account that I applied on this invoice? Because as you can see, it's been applied. So you need to apply your prepaid accounts, right? Remember the whole idea of the voucher? Now that I received the bill, I'm going to go ahead and redeem my voucher. So I need to get rid of my voucher. Okay? And since this is a bill, I'm going to owe this person because they're giving me 20 days to pay them back. Okay? So again, prepaid accounts is 18,600 and my accounts payable is 20,000. All right? So let's go ahead and enter in for information. How much is my purchase expense for? 196. That is correct. How much was my freight expense for?
100.
100. All right. How much was my prepayment for?
100.
100. And how much is my bill now?
196.
196. And look at that. They both equal on both sides. Okay. So that's how you have to understand this. And then watch what happens when I apply that that prepaid account to my actual invoice. So now that I have this, right? Okay. Other things I can do is I have the information that is there, right? I have the vendor, all things ceramics. Okay. I have the invoice number 126. I even have the terms. What is the terms that they gave me?
Net 20.
Okay. What else? Do I get it? Do I get a discount?
1%,
1%.
net or net 20.
Yes. So 1%, 10, net 20. Okay. All right. There you go. Now my section here in the journal is complete, right? But I'm going to go ahead and follow through everything, and then lastly enter everything in my inventory worksheet. So again, now that I've journalized it, next thing I have to do is I have to go to my ledger. Okay, so first thing is purchase expense. So I'm going to go to my expenses tab and enter everything in. So my expenses tab. So first thing I have is a purchase expense. Here I am at the very bottom at purchase expense. Okay, and I'm going to put the date as June 10. Now, how many items did I actually buy? What was my receipt amount for? For 80 coffee mugs. So here for your items or notes, whatever you want to place here, you can put invoice, right? Invoice number 126 for 80 mugs. Okay. Post reference, once again, General Journal 3. We're still on General Journal 3. And I'm debiting my account for the 196. Okay, because that's how much those cups are worth right now. Okay, so there you go. This is my very first entry here. So that means the next couple entries I will keep adding and adding and adding to my purchase expense. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and now the next item I have on there is going to be my freight expense, which should be near the top. Okay, found it. So June 10, again, for the 80 coffee mugs. Okay, post reference General Journal number 3, and of course I've increased my account by $100 because that's how much it cost me to ship the items to my store. Okay, of course with shipping and handling, especially with coffee mugs, right, they're fragile. Okay, and then let's see what else happened here. We have to go ahead and enter in our prepaid accounts now. So in this case, right, I'm going to scroll. I think it's all down at the bottom. I go to my prepaid accounts, and this time, like I said, if you treat it as if you this prepayment is a voucher, then it makes a lot of sense what happens when you redeem a voucher. When you redeem a voucher, that means you have to get rid of it, right? So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and write here 10, and I'm going to write invoice number 126. All right, 80, and then I'm also going to write in the purchase order number, 170305, because that's what the coffee mugs were. All right, and then again, General Journal, wrong box, General Journal number 3, and this time I'm going to be crediting it because I'm redeeming my voucher. So by redeeming my voucher, I'm crediting the account, right, and I'm going to apply it to the invoice. So now I have 78 to 2604. Okay, so I increased it, and now I'm back down to the same number. Okay. Last but not least, I also have to edit my accounts payable, because now I owe more money, right? I received an invoice and I chose not to pay it just yet. Invoice number 126. So here you go. Now I owe an additional $196. $196, right? Because that's how much I owe now. So that should make my balance now increase to $9,879.24. Okay. All right. Now that I completed my general ledger, I have to also now update my subsidiary ledger. So again, this is where I have to go all the way up to the top because all things ceramics. So now this is where I'm going to go ahead and utilize my prepaid accounts. So because I have the information here, right? So again, I'm going to write 80 coffee mugs. Okay? And I know for a fact that this is now going to be invoice number 126. Alright? General Journal 3 once again. What was my terms? 1% 10 net 20. Okay? I popped that in there. So what's my discount date then? What's my discount date then?
June 30th.
June 20. That's the due date. Yeah, 10 days is going to be my discount date. So if I pay within by June 20th, then I'm going to receive a 1% discount. All right? But if not, then when is my actual due date for the whole entire thing?
Then it's June 30th.
Then and now it's June 30th. Okay? So again, I used Excel to calculate it for me. So this is now, I could go ahead and place the information here. Do I have a prepaid account? Yes, I do. All right. How much was the original invoice amount for? Before the down payment.
196.
Before the down payment.
96.
Okay, before the down payment, including the freight expense.
296.
It should be 296. Okay. Now this is how the formula works. Okay. Once again, if I have a invoice amount, right? That's the original invoice, right? It's supposed to be 196 plus the $100 to give you 296. But I've also made a down payment, right? I made a prepaid account or a down payment. So that should decrease my invoice. Okay? We didn't make any returns. We didn't get any discounts. And we didn't pay anything. So then for my bill should be reflecting as $196. Okay, so that's how I utilize my table. Is I need to know what the original invoice amount is. Okay, so even if you look at the invoice, right, it tells you that you have a down payment. Ignore as if you didn't have this down payment, right? Then that's going to be what your original invoice is for. All right, and then apply your prepaid account. So then your total amount that's on the bill is going to reflect exactly what I have here, which is the 196 even, right? And then the bottom should show you that you owe them 196. So again, here I got two different transactions going on. I got one prepaid account, and then I have here using the prepaid account in this original invoice to get to my end result of my accounts payable to be 196. Okay, so that's how I utilize this. This is how I utilize the subsidiary ledger. All right. Any questions? Okay. So then now we completed all three worksheets, right? We completed the journal. We completed the general ledger. We completed the subsidiary ledger, so that now we can finally be introduced to the inventory worksheet. So here I made it easier for you to recognize, right? The first one is going to be regular coffee, supreme coffee. They are both perpetual. And then we have our coffee mugs, which is periodic, right? I already filled the information out for you. It's weighted average, it's coffee mugs, and it's periodic. Okay, so here let's go ahead and enter the information that we saw in the table. or in the scenario. So on June 10th, we bought a total of 80 coffee mugs. At what per unit was my coffee mugs? 245. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and apply $2.45. And of course, how do I figure out my total purchases?
196.
196 plus $100 worth of freight gives me a grand total of
296.
296. And then lastly, because we are using weighted average, what happens next? This is the first batch I have. So what should I do?
So we need to make
Total cost divided by quantity.
Yes, so because we are only dealing with, what if I only made this one purchase of coffee mugs? Then I'm going to go ahead and solve for my cost per item, which gives me a total of
370.
370. And this is 370 even.
Yes.
Okay, so 370. So I'm going to go ahead and reformat all of these. Okay. And the one thing that we know about the periodic inventory is that we can go ahead and apply the formula all the way down. So in this case, to solve for the purchases, it should be, you're able to pull the formula down, right? In case we do end up buying more inventory. So right now we have a total of 80 items, okay, costing at $3.70 per cup when we sell them, okay? Any questions so far?
No question.
Okay. Good, good, good. Okay. So let's go ahead and do one more and then we'll go on a break. Okay. So here we are. What happened here? We made another order. Okay, so yes, so we made another order, and what did we buy this time? Yes, what we bought coffee grinds. Yes, so gonna go to my purchase orders real quick, and June 10. All right, order number 17306. Who did I make an order to?
Atlas Coffee Importers.
Yes, Atlas Coffee Imports. Okay. And what did I buy from them? I bought 250 pounds of coffee. All right. Giving me a grand total of, or costing me a grand total of $362.50. Okay. That's it. It's just a purchase order. Nothing is set. I didn't receive the items. Okay. So go back to my journal. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and do the next one real quick since we're already here. So June 10. Wow, I received another invoice. And what is this invoice for?
The coffee grinder and the brewer.
Yes, we received the invoice for the coffee grinder and the coffee brewer. So let's take a look again. We got charged tax once again. Okay. And we have a down payment. And yeah, they didn't even charge us shipping for this one. So maybe there's another person who is going to be in charge of the shipping. So in this case, they just gave us a straight bill. The only thing that they charged us was just sales tax. Okay. And of course, placed a down payment. So therefore, it's gonna go against. So once we did that again, we've already done this before, right? Essentially it's a voucher. So now we're redeeming our voucher. So let's go ahead and break it down. All right. So first things first is I'm going to go ahead and break down my account. So it's June 10 right now. I bought a coffee brewer. Do I have a coffee brewer in my chart of accounts?
Yes.
Yes, we do, because remember when we acquired the company, right? That's the first thing that we got was the coffee brewer. Okay. Now, do we have a coffee grinder account?
Yes.
Yes, we do. All right, here they are. What are they?
Coffee brewer is 150.10 and coffee grinder is 150.20.
Perfect. 150.10 and 150.20. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate that right here. My coffee brewer and my coffee grinder. But here's the thing. Okay? So if you keep reading down below, right? So I'm not going to actually place them in here just yet because there's a few things I haven't done. There's a few things the few things are that I haven't even received the shipment either. Okay? So what I'm going to tell you to do is I'm going to place everything into miscellaneous suspense. All right? And I'm also going to say that the coffee grinder also needs some additional fixtures. We need to pave a foundation for it. All right? And we also need to do some electrical work on it so then it can be plugged in right next to the coffee brewer, right? You never want two powerful machines to be plugged in the same outlet because what happens, right? Power shortage. So we need to create another electrical unit for the coffee grinder, okay? Because we have two coffee brewers, right? That's already one outlet. So here, I'm going to tell you, I want you to place the entire thing in miscellaneous suspense because we still have shipping left to consider, and we still also have the fixtures that needs to be done with the coffee grinder. So in this case, I want you to dump everything into miscellaneous suspense. All right, I'm stopping you right now. We do have those accounts. However, I want you to dump it into miscellaneous suspense. All right, because there are still things that we need to have to work on it. All right, so we're visiting the same old miscellaneous suspense account. All right, and what account number is that? 19990. Okay. And of course, we made a prepayment, right? We made a down payment, so that's going to work against our invoice, which in this case, they already applied it. So therefore, we're going to redeem our voucher here, prepaid accounts. And again, we were given a bill. So therefore, are we obligated to pay now? No. Okay. So again, my prepaid accounts, again, if you look right above, should be $1860, and accounts payable is once again $20,000. Okay. So let's see. What was my total? What was my total amount here? Okay. So if I made a payment of 1171.87, and my total bill amount was $2634.15. What is my total amount of the coffee grinder and the coffee brewer with the tax and everything?
380602.
380602. Again, you can also utilize your Excel to ensure that your debits match your credits, so I should have 380602. All right, which it also says here on the bill. Okay, so every bill that you receive is gonna look different, of course, for every vendor, right? Some vendors will discount you right away. Some vendors will wait till the very end. But then again, in this case, we got the discount after tax, not before, where the previous one was before the tax. So pretty cool. Okay, so again, it depends on the vendor. Okay, so now that I have this information here, I'm also going to make sure I indicate that I did receive a bill from Haley Bros. Okay, and this was invoice number
351.
351. Okay, was I given any terms?
1% 15 net 30.
1%, 15, net 30. Okay, good. Now that whole entire section is done. All right. So now that I have that, let's go to my ledger, my general ledger, and update my miscellaneous suspense account, and so on and so forth. So here we are. Very down at the bottom is my miscellaneous suspense. Okay, so here it's the 10th. I'm gonna go ahead and write it, invoice number 351, brewer and grinder. Okay, general journal number 3, and how much did I increase my account for? The 380602. So therefore, my miscellaneous suspense is now 380602. All right, and that's including both coffee brewer and coffee grinder. Now, if you just bear with me, I'll show you what happens next, after next. So again, remember what our notion is here is that we technically acquired the asset. However, is it ready to be placed into service?
Not yet.
Not yet. We still got some fixtures that we have to do with it. So right now, we're just going to place it in an account for miscellaneous suspense, because technically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to include all the expenses, like including the freight. I'm going to do all the charges I need to do to make the foundation and do the electrical work. And what's going to happen is once I am done and satisfied with that, then I'm going to remove it from the miscellaneous suspense and place it in its proper account. Okay, so right now, remember, I have 2 coffee brewers, right? One from acquiring the business, and one that I just recently purchased, right? So I want to make sure that I get the full amount for coffee brewer number 2 instead of doing a couple entries in there. Okay. So now that I have that, I'm going to go up to my prepaid accounts. Okay, sorry. I'm going to go up to my prepaid accounts because I'm redeeming my voucher. So again, June 10. This is for invoice number 351. Purchase order number 170303. Okay, 303R because we revised it, remember? Same thing, general journal number 3. However, we're decreasing it by the 1171 and 87 cents. So therefore, it should bring my accounts, prepaid accounts down to 6654.17. All right. So again, here we've brought it up, then we brought it back down to 6654. 5417. All right. Last but not least, we got to go to our accounts payable, because now we owe more money because we received a bill. All right. Same thing here. Invoice, except now it's invoice number 351. All right. General journal number 3. And this time we increased our amount, the amount that we owe. So we increased it by the total of the 200634.15. Right? That's our bill due date. All right, that's what is on our bill. Okay? And again, that means we increased the amount that we owe by a total of $12,513. So again, we're owing a little too much so far in the midst of our business. Okay? Now that I finish my ledger, I can go ahead and go to my subsidiary ledger, because now I'm dealing with Haley Bros. So again, if I scroll down and find and locate Haley, here's furniture. There we are, Haley Bros. Okay. So again, the date is June 10th, and this time, right, we received coffee, brewer, and grinder. Okay. Invoice is now 351. Okay. General journal number 3. Okay. Terms. What was the terms again?
1%, 15, net 30.
1%, 15, net 30. So once again, what is going to be my discount date?
June 25th.
June 25th. And then lastly, what is going to be my actual due date?
July 10th.
July 10th. Yes, exactly 30 days, right? Because there's only exactly 30 days in June. So, okay. So now that we have that, do we have a prepaid account amount? Yes, we do. We have the 1171.87. Okay. Now, what was the original invoice amount? So again, it should be given on there of the original invoice amount. Okay, what was the original invoice amount before the down payment?
380602.
380602, right? So I'm going to go ahead and place it in there. 380602, all right? And we didn't make any payments to it, so therefore my formula should be, if I pull it down, should reflect my total bill amount, which is the $2,634.15. Okay, so here is a perfect look at this example here. And now I owe Hallie Bros $2,634.15. Right? Any questions so far? Okay. So now that we are here, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, and let's call break if you don't have any other extra questions. Okay, so I'm going to go